What is up, guys? It's Brynmeister here and welcome to today's video. If you do enjoy the video, then don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment and subscribe, and hit all the links up down below to Twitch and Discord. Enjoy the video. What is up, everybody? Welcome to today's top 5 video. This is today my top 5 personal favourite RuneScape YouTubers to watch, past and present. So I'm going to get into some quick exclusions before we get into the video, just because I don't want to upset anybody, and this is a potentially controversial one. So on screen now you can see some of the exclusions I've made. So anyone that's purely made old school RuneScape videos, I've not included on this because I've basically not watched any really old school people, and it's going to be purely based on YouTube uploads. If I included like stream or anything they had on Twitch, then the order might be a bit different in my opinion, but I'm judging this purely on YouTube content that I have found enjoyable. And the other thing I wanted to say just before I started is that this has been the hardest one to do so far. There are so many good content creators out there that I couldn't squeeze all of them into the top 5. So on screen now there are some past and present content creators that I've also enjoyed thoroughly, and there's even more than that. These are just some more that came to my head that just didn't quite make it into the top 5, but also thoroughly worth a watch. And yeah, go check them out if you haven't already, because they all make really good content. So coming in at 5th place, and the first person on this list is Alkane / #1 boss. This is more of a historic one rather than now, because I think he makes RS3 content, no, old school RS content now, and not particularly frequently. But back in the day, I want to say it was about 2012-ish kind of time, he put out pretty much daily uploads, and it really appealed to my inner child. Like his intro and everything it appealed to the inner child in me. It was quite entertaining and amusing, and it was really interesting watching him in like the race for, I think it was 5.2 bill XP then, along with him and like Suomi and a couple of other guys. I think he ended up like P5 on the high scores or something along the lines of that. And then he did a whole other series again. He did an Iron Man and a noob account and maxed and took them all the way and everything as well, which is pretty cool. And then I think he swapped over to old school RS. But for a really long time, Alkane was one of my favourite content creators, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching him and his content. He does make his uploads a little bit less frequently now. When I was actually looking into this video, his last one was like 2 months ago, and then there was one before that like 3 months ago. So they're a lot more infrequent, but nevertheless, back in the day he was absolutely incredible, and he is well worth his position in the top 5. So before I get round to explaining sort of my reasonings for positioning this one in here, 4th, 3rd and 2nd were all incredibly difficult to put them in order. They could all individually be in each of the positions. You could swap them here and there. It was a very difficult choice to select 4th, 3rd and 2nd. And if I was including streaming content as well, RS Guy would definitely have to feature higher on the list, because he does pretty much daily streams and does all kinds of stuff there. But based on pure YouTube content and stuff like that, I've had to put him in 4th place, which is still a really great position to be in. And he does really good in-depth PVM guides, especially for the high level stuff, and like his knowledge of the combat system and stuff like that is really good, and he's got a really good way of explaining the high level bosses to people that are just starting it out. In fact, I watched his Solak guide and his AOD guide, even though his AOD guide was a few years out of date, before I did my sort of first kills on any of them, and they're really good in-depth guides. He also, one that I really do enjoy is his testing of the new weapons when they come out. So when he tested all like the tier 92s like the Eldritch and loads of different bosses, found out where they were good, that sort of thing. And then he did it again for all like the tier 80, but like the special tier 80 weapons like the Hex Hunter, the Pterosaur Maul and the Inquisitor stuff. And I just find them really enjoyable to watch, to like see where they're useful and where they're not useful, and if they're even worth buying. And that's personally what actually motivated me to buy my Eldritch Crossbow as my first tier 92, is I watched that, saw that it was absolutely incredible at next, and yeah, I didn't look back from there. He also has some really well edited series. The Telos from Scratch series that he did was really well edited, like all the cutscenes as well, and the fact that he got other YouTubers and content creators and stuff to do voiceovers for it, and it was just edited so well and everything. It was amazing. And all his challenges he's done are really good. All the ones that he's done featuring cash stack and stuff like that, they're always really good challenges, and you can see that they work well and do well together doing their sort of challenge videos, and they're all really enjoyable to watch. The only thing that I've got him holding down in 4th place is the fact that his uploads are a little bit less frequent. His content is very good, but only when we get to watch it, because it's not daily or weekly, but it's so much worth the wait when it does come out, because it is really good quality. 3rd place on the list is Maikeru. We knew he was going to be in here somewhere, and that is because he has amazing knowledge of the game. He's gone through stage where he's done like literally daily uploads, and I really liked his series, like the totally unique bossing, where he did like daily uploads for like a week or whatever of it, and it was really enjoyable. He has incredible knowledge of the game. Like when he comes out with some of his tips and tricks videos, or like his new and unusual money makers, like my brain can't even comprehend what has crossed his mind for him to go and like test or try out that random thing for it. And but they're all really good. They all work. He makes some really good videos as well, and a combination of him and Protoxx were kind of what inspired me to get back into video making. I took like a 6 or 7 year break from it, from 2012 to beginning of 2019. I think I started again now, and but watching those two made me really want to make videos again, and that's what actually started me doing it. He used to do some really cool series as well. Like I really enjoyed watching his whole like 10 HP hero, hardcore Iron Man series. They were all really enjoyable watches. He would again probably rank higher on here if we included streaming, because he is a very dedicated streamer. I'm pretty sure he does it full time now for a job. But by his own admission, I believe he now enjoys streaming more than the actual content creation for YouTube side of it, which is understandable, and you've got to do what you enjoy and makes you happy. There's no point doing something if you doesn't make you happy and you don't enjoy it. But he does still make some really good videos, and when they do come out, they are definitely always worth the watch. So yeah, definitely deserves his place on this list, and he is in third for that. Second place, and a definite very worthy runner-up on this list, is Protoxx Gaming, or as Runescape or Jagex themselves like to say, Protoxx Gaming. He's on here because he literally has a guide for everything. Like if you search any guide for anything, he will appear at the top of the list for everything apart from Nex. Sorry, Protoxx. He's also not an elitist player. He's quite happy to come and just do PVM with normal people. He's not like a high level PVMer. He's not a noob either. I feel like I'm going to upset him if I say too much there. He makes some really great quality videos. Like the amount of time and effort taken into getting clips and editing it all together, especially the guides. Like I know myself how much time guides take to make, and the fact that he has so many really in-depth and great quality guides is pretty remarkable as well. And he does frequent uploads as well. They're like, I don't want to say daily, but they're at least 2 to 3 times a week he has a video out, and he does a great variety from like the guys to challenge videos and stuff. And he's even now started making the brave move of branching into like some stuff that's not even RS content. Not to mention the fact that he has like the most soothing YouTube voice ever. I can only imagine that it has come from years and years of drinking too much tea, and it's done something to his vocal cords. But yeah, Protoxx I think is a definite worthy runner-up on this list, and second only to number 1, who we'll get into in a second. And in the number 1 spot for me, there was never any dispute from myself on this one. You guys might rate it differently, which reminds me, if you do have different thoughts on the top 5 or want to say your own top 5, hit it up in the comment section down below. I love reading all your guys' top 5s and seeing how everyone has different opinions and everything. It's really interesting. But anyway, in number 1 spot for me is RuneShark videos. I feel like they were way ahead of their time quality wise back in like 2011, 2012. They even went on to go and work for Jagex for a while on the setting up like the streaming and all that kind of bit for Jagex. They had such a good chemistry and like relationship working together with each other, James and Simon. Their content was so good for the time. Looking back at it now, it's like the quality's not as good as some of the other people in this list, but for the time that they're at, it was amazing. And it's so nostalgic even just talking about them, because they were like absolutely massive back in that 2012 sort of era. They were huge. They did so much good stuff as well. Like they did their monthly behind the scenes podcasts that were just really good and interesting to watch. They did some amazing collaborations with Bournemouth PVM. They were like almost the originals on doing the challenge series. I think it started off with, they did a fire cape from scratch challenge between James and Bournemouth PVM. Then they did another one, I can't remember what the middle one was, and then they did their Godsword set from scratch, which I believe they never actually finished. They got, I don't know, I think that was almost the beginning of the end for them, was that it went on for way too long, and I think it got them quite burnt out. And then EOC happened and Old School came out, and James, I believe, came back for a little bit and did a little bit of Slayer on Old School when it first came out, but it was never really the same after EOC came out. They never were really fully there. They went on and did other things and got on with their lives in general. And in fact now, apart from the Godsword set from scratch, they've actually made private or removed all of their videos, which I find is a strange one, but yeah, they're just not there anymore. But for the fact that they're pure nostalgia and how massive they were and ahead of their time they were back in the day, in my eyes, there's no one else that can compete with RuneShark as my all-time favourite RuneScape YouTubers.